Morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the internet world. Welcome to another edition of Golden Independence. And if you are just tuning in to this channel, I'd like to say welcome to the revolution. And the revolution is Satoshis. You probably thought I was going to say Bitcoin. Well, I'm beyond Bitcoin right now because for those of us who are in the know or are aware, Bitcoin is hovering around $100,000, and 1/10, right, or 100 million Satoshis is hovering around $10,000. So if you have $10,000, ladies and gentlemen, you can get 100 million Satoshis. I'm going to say this again, ladies and gentlemen. If you have 100 million, if you have $10,000, $10,000 will get you 100 million Satoshis. Yep. That's right. And when one Satoshi reaches $1, if you just have 1/10 of a Bitcoin, 1/10 of a Bitcoin, you will have access to $100 million, because 1/10 of a Bitcoin is 100 million. 1/10 of a Bitcoin would be the equivalent of 100 million Satoshis. So when one Satoshi reaches $1, I'm sorry, no, 100 million, scratch that, 100 million Satoshis is the full amount. So one Bitcoin is actually 100 million Satoshis. So 1/10 would be 10 million, wouldn't it? Right? So $10,000 will get you 10 million Satoshis. Sorry. $10 million. $10,000. Sorry, I'm getting my numbers all confused. $10,000 will get you 10 million Satoshis. Right? In terms of units to fractions. That's how much Satoshis you will receive. Because when one full Bitcoin reaches the value of $100 million, then 1/10, a fraction of that 1/10 will equal 10 million. So this is why we are ahead of the curve, as many Satoshis as possible. Because right now, $1 can get you approximately 1,000 Satoshis. So this is why we're at the new era of Bitcoin. We're at the new era of wealth building. Yes. So, and it's much easier to become a millionaire/billionaire. Much easier. Why? Because there are so many ways to acquire Bitcoin now. You could dollar cost average in. That means you could take your spare change, even $1, There are opportunities out there where you can dollar cost average into Bitcoin. There are apps out there. I can't use these apps. I can't use them because of my jurisdiction. But that doesn't mean that they cannot be used. That doesn't mean that they cannot be used. But you could use them. And you could do $1 per month, $1 per day, $1 per week, $1 per hour, right down to the second in terms of dollar cost averaging into the Bitcoin network or into the system. Whereas when Bitcoin first came out, you had to, you had to know how to get onto exchange. First, you had to hear about an exchange. How could you do it? Because it wasn't that easy to acquire. But now with the building of apps and the decentralization of the knowledge of how to build, of how to code and things like that, we find ourselves with the opportunity of being able to position ourselves in wealth building opportunities. Like dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. It's been made much easier and simpler than 10 years ago. Just 10 years ago. That is something to consider, something to take into consideration, something to be mindful of. There are also opportunities where you can mine Satoshis. So you could acquire an income producing asset one time, and then you're mining Satoshis on a daily basis. So if you're mining Satoshis on a daily basis, when you're mining Satoshis on a daily basis, and we're mining millions of Satoshis per day, or I should say thousands. Let's just start off with thousands of Satoshis per day, because when I say millions, most people won't understand because they don't see. I'm saying millions because I see and I'm looking at the end game. But for those who are not a part of this opportunity, then it would be best for me to just say, hey, it's thousands. But that's still a lot because when one Satoshi goes to $1, it's thousands. That would be thousands. Imagine mining thousands. You're receiving thousands per day. When one Satoshi reaches $1, it's thousands per day. Yes, that will be the value, right? That will be the value. Yes? So imagine receiving passive income, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands on a daily basis. On a daily basis. You are literally in the position of being your own bank in the next 10 years. In the next 2 cycles. How about that? Just 2 cycles. 2 cycles from now, Those of us who are already positioned with the opportunity that I just described with mining, we would literally be our own banks, because we would be personally mining Bitcoin, not just mining Bitcoin, but also contributing to the Bitcoin economy. That's what I like about it. You see, I just want to put this out there. Those who participate in the ETFs, that's good. However, it's a centralized entity that actually holds and takes custody of the Bitcoin. It doesn't really help the Bitcoin network per se, because they could sell it if they wanted to sell it. All of us are thinking and speculating that they're not going to sell it, because these traditional entities, they only care about the traditional money, but they don't really understand the fundamentals of holding Bitcoin, because the more we hold Bitcoin, the more stronger the network. Yes, which increases the value. Yeah. The harder it becomes to generate more satoshis, which means more investment has to go into the network. And this is what really creates the value, or even the floor value. Yeah, that's the most important thing, the floor value of Bitcoin. What does it take to mine Bitcoin, or to even mine the satoshis? This is what we have to consider when we're thinking about satoshis, ladies and gentlemen. We are thinking about satoshis. I'm going to show you guys another view. It's a beautiful day today. Just here by the waterside. This is where we are for the day. It's a beautiful scene. So it's a little windy too. When you get to the when you get real close to the shoreline. I'll probably do another podcast somewhere else on a more quieter side of the island. However,